Chapter 8, The Mauryan Empire. The establishment of the Mauryan Empire was of great importance in the history of India. For the first time, the Mauryan rulers were able to unify large part of India. Important rulers of this dynasty were Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashoka the Great. The Arthashastra by Kautilya and the Indica by the Greek envoy Megasthenes are two books that provide information about the Mauryan period. The edicts of Ashoka, carved on rocks and pillars, are also other important sources of information. Chandragupta Maurya. He was the founder of the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta's mentor and guide, Kautilya, played an important role in the foundation and governance of the Mauryan Empire. Kautilya, also identified as Chanakya, was the author of the Arthashastra. Legend has it that Chanakya was thrown out by the Nanda king, whereupon he swore revenge. While in Magadha, Chanakya by chance met Chandragupta. Chanakya was impressed by the young boy and immediately took him under his wing. Chanakya trained young Chandragupta and together they planned the conquest of the Nanda kingdom. Eventually, Chandragupta seized the throne of Magadha, overthrowing the last Nanda king in 321 BCE. Chandragupta's empire comprised what is now Bihar, big portions of Odisha and Bengal, western and northwestern India, and the Deccan. Chandragupta controlled some areas in the northwest that even the British Empire could not take over. Chandragupta established an excellent administrative system which enabled the continuation of the empire for more than 100 years. The Jaina tradition claims that in 297 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya abdicated the throne in favor of his son Bindusara. Bindusara extended the Mauryan Empire southwards as far as Karnataka. The administration under Bindusara functioned smoothly. During his reign, the Mauryan Empire developed diplomatic relations with the Greeks. Ashoka the Great. Bindusara's son Ashoka was one of the world's greatest rulers. His empire stretched from the present day Pakistan and Afghanistan in the west to present day Nepal and the Indian state of Assam in the east, and as far as Karnataka in South India. It also included parts of Kashmir. His capital was at Patliputra. Kalinga War. Kalinga, roughly modern day Odisha, was a great maritime power. The control of Kalinga promised an access to trade with the Southeast Asian countries. Therefore, Ashoka attacked Kalinga, plundering and causing immense destruction in the region. The Kalinga War was a turning point in Ashoka's life. He was filled with guilt and sorrow when he saw the death and destruction caused by the war. He decided to give up violence and spread the message of love. One of the rock edicts of Ashoka claims, on conquering Kalinga, the beloved of the gods felt remorse. For when an independent country is conquered, the slaughter, death, and deportation of the people is extremely grievous to the beloved of the gods and weighs heavily on his mind. Deeply influenced by the principles of peace and non-violence preached by the Buddha, Ashoka embraced Buddhism. He devoted his life to the welfare of his people. He therefore adopted the policy of Dhamma as the main principle of governing his subjects. Ashoka's Dhamma. The word Dhamma is derived from the Sanskrit word dharma, which means religious and moral duty. Ashoka defined the main principles of Dhamma as follows: non-violence or ahimsa. He urged his subjects to practice non-violence towards all living beings. Acceptance of all sects. He advocated a policy of tolerance towards all religions. Obedience to parents and elders. He advised that elders were to be respected and children treated with understanding. Generosity towards all. He encouraged charity towards all. Emperor Ashoka was known by the title Devanampiya Piyadasi, which means beloved of the gods, and one who regards all with affection. He treated his people as his children. Emperor Ashoka strictly followed the principles of Dhamma. He set an example that others were inspired to follow. He built stupas, viharas, and chaityas for Buddhist monks throughout his empire. He also gave donations to these viharas and chaityas. Ashoka sent learned Buddhist scholars to different countries to propagate his Dhamma. He sent his daughter and son to spread Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Ashoka's edicts were set up not only to spread Buddhism but also to spread the message about his ideas on society and governance. Ashoka also actively discouraged slavery, hunting, fishing, and deforestation. Ashokan edicts. Edicts are official or royal proclamations or commands. Emperor Ashoka sent his edicts to different parts of the empire where they were engraved on rocks, polished stone pillars, and caves for the common people to read. These edicts were written in different scripts. Most of them were composed in Prakrit, the language of the common people at that time, and written in the Brahmi script. In the northwest, these were written in Greek, Kharoshti, and Aramaic scripts. These inscriptions promoted the Buddhist moral code. They encouraged people to follow the principles of Dhamma and practice ahimsa or non violence. Mauryan administration. In the Arthashastra, Chanakya gave guidelines on how to run a good government. Ashoka based his administration on these guidelines. The king was all powerful. A council of ministers called the Mantri Parishad advised him. There were different departments such as the treasury, security, revenue, industry, and so on. Officials were appointed by the king to look after each department. Mahamatas looked after various aspects of administration. The empire was divided into four provinces, with the capital at Patliputra. The expansion and defense of the empire was made possible by the largest standing army of its time. A vast espionage spy system worked for both internal and external security. The spy system also kept the king informed about the conduct of the officials. Mauryan economy and trade. Political unity and military security allowed for a common economic system. Agricultural productivity increased, and trade and commerce within the empire flourished. Standardized weights and measures were introduced across the empire. Trading activities extended over the Malay Peninsula, including Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, and in the west up to Greece and Egypt. Exports included silk goods, textiles, and spices. Mining and forestry flourished. Carpentry, pottery, and masonry resulted in the production of beautiful artifacts. The government collected taxes from farmers, miners, and other professionals. It used these taxes to pay the salaries of officers and soldiers, as well as build facilities for the welfare of the people. Some of the facilities that Ashoka built were as follows: wide roads with shady trees on both sides, rest houses, and wells along the roads for travelers. Waterways and canals for irrigation and transport. Hospitals for the care of people and animals. Mauryan art and architecture. Most of our information about the Mauryan period comes from the Ashokan edicts, pillars, stupas, and viharas, which were constructed during his reign. Ashoka is said to have built a large number of stupas throughout the kingdom. Out of these, the stupa at Sanchi is the most famous. Decline of the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire did not last long after the death of Ashoka, though the empire continued to exist for a few more decades after Ashoka's death. It had lost all its vitality. Brihadratha was the last Mauryan ruler who was killed by his commander in chief Pushyamitra Sunga in the 2nd century BCE. The reasons for the decline of the Mauryan Empire were as follows. Under weak successors of Ashoka, provincial governors began to declare their independence. The cost of maintaining a large army and administering a huge empire proved to be a burden on the state treasury. So, here the Mauryan Empire ends. I hope you all have enjoyed throughout the video and learned more efficiently about the Mauryan Empire. Thank you.